Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we have a short almond gel X design. I was going for a maximalist type of design, but I think I have a lot of work to get to like a real maximalist design. The reason why I call it a maximalist design is because it's out of my comfort zone, and I'm very much a simple French short type of nail girl. So to wear a design like this out in public, they're gorgeous, but it's definitely out of my comfort zone. So that's why I call it a maximalist design. But to get things started, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the Peel It Off Base Coat by Makart. I do this for every single set, and as you can see, my nails don't have any rings of fire or any peeling of the nail plate. And that's because this Peel It Off base coat does a really good job at protecting my nails, even though I am just popping these designs off as soon as I'm done. If you guys have been with me from the very beginning, then you know I use Makart products a lot. And like, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I literally buy all these products with my own money. I don't get any like it's not called merch. What's it called when people like send you stuff and you like market their products? Like, I don't get any of that. I just genuinely love the products that I use, and I just want to share them with you guys. So if you guys are interested in a good beginner friendly and affordable nail brand, definitely check out Makart. The other brand that I use consistently is Beetles, so I do alternate between the two quite frequently, and a lot of the products that I use in my videos I have on my Amazon storefront. So if you guys are looking for beginner friendly nail brands that are affordable, check out my Amazon storefront in the description below. Now, these are the tips that I'm going to be using. I use this brand for my tips in every video. Look at how hard I'm pushing, and it does not bend. The only thing that is flexible in this tip is the cuticle area part. That way it can mold and seal itself around your nail plate much better, so it has that flex in that area. But the actual free edge of the tip is incredibly sturdy without looking bulky. So I love these tips. I use them for everything when it comes to gel X. And what I mean by everything is that I have them in every shape you could imagine. This is the only brand that I use and trust, so they're also very affordable. But I will be quiet and let you guys watch my application. After the application, I go ahead and start sealing in my cuticle with my carbide bit. Now, you guys normally know that I like to use my gold carbide bit by Melody Susie, but she's currently MIA. So I'm gonna go ahead and seal in my cuticle with the purple 5-in-1 carbide bit. This is a coarse carbide bit, and it's just as good. If anything, it seals in my cuticle much faster than the gold carbide bit. I do switch off between the two as well. I do tend to lean towards the gold carbide bit just because the tip of the bit is a fine grit, and it's just a little bit safer in my opinion for when I'm doing my own nails, because I'm not trying to cut myself, you know. But like I said, she's MIA, so we just went with the purple one for today. And then after I use my carbide bit, just to get a little bit of a closer seal, I go in with my green sanding band, also by Melody Susie, and all of these products will be linked down in the description below. Once my cuticles were sealed and ready to go, it was time to start the nail art, and I start by going in with this shade by Beetles for my index finger and my ring finger. As you can see, it is a really sheer gel polish, so I do use 3 coats of this. I wouldn't consider it a jelly gel polish just because once I apply the 3 coats, it does become pretty pigmented. I'll try to find a similar color to what I'm using, and I'll try to link that down below because I got this color a long time ago and I'm trying to make use of all of my gel polishes now that I'm creating content, and I think this is the first time I've actually used this shade like ever. So I apply this shade to my ring finger and my index finger, and then after that I go in with Springside by Apres for my middle finger and my pinky. And then I show you later on how I applied black gel polish to my thumb. I could have left that to the very end, but you'll notice that I did do that like literally in like a minute. I applied black gel polish to my thumb and then I matte top coat it, but I didn't have to do that until the very end, and I'll explain why later. Next, I use my airbrush in order to take some white gel polish and airbrush some white onto my index finger. And then I take that same shade of maroon, and I have to do this twice. So I airbrush that maroon shade onto my pinky and my middle finger, fully cure it, and then I go back and airbrush it again in order to give it that rich color that I was looking for. So if you notice while I'm doing this design, it's not as smooth. Like my lines are not as smooth and clean as I would like them to be. And there are some white parts sort of sticking out of the line. One thing you can do to clean that up, and I'll show you in a second, I just want to explain it before we get to that part, is you can take an old brush that's still sort of semi-intact and dip it in acetone and use that to clean up the edges of the lines rather than going in with a big cleanup brush, because you'll definitely mess up the line because a cleanup brush isn't skinny enough to just get that tiny little corner. So if you have an old liner brush that still sort of has its point and you don't really use it anymore, definitely you can take that, dip it in acetone like I said, and use that to clean around the edges. And I show you that in just a second. Now it was time to do my 3D flower, and I'm going to explain to you guys exactly how I do it. I take Macart's solid nail glue, and you don't need a lot. So just start with a little bit, and you're going to roll it out just like this, like you would when we were in kindergarten playing with Play-Doh and we wanted to make little caterpillars, okay? That's how you're going to roll it out. Then you're going to take whatever tool you have, a silicone tool, whatever you want to use. We're going to roll that little piece into our fingers, and you're gonna put that little ball piece by piece until you form like little balls of petals all around the nail. And once it finishes, you're gonna see what I mean by like the 5 balls of petals. Okay, you don't need a lot at all, because remember, you're going to be pushing this down. So when you're doing a 3D flower, it doesn't have to be massive, because you can absolutely tell that there's something 3D on top of the nail without it looking bulky. So here are my 5 little balls. The reason why you want to do it this way is because I can see that every ball is the same size. If I were to just put one ball and start forming my petal, and then later on another ball or bead is going to be bigger than my original size, now it's going to be harder to fix that. So it's just best to start off with rolling the balls, putting all the balls on the nail, and then you can see that each ball is the same, and then you can move forward. Next thing I do is I take my silicone tool and I start gently pushing the balls inward. It's like a downward and inward motion at the same time, and you want to be gentle and work with it slowly. After I sort of start pushing them in, now I want to push down and drag the petal outward so that it starts forming my point. Once my point starts like, okay, I've pushed it downward and there's really nothing else I can do, I'm gonna start like almost like as if you're applying 3D acrylic beads. to make a 3D acrylic flower, you're just gonna start opening up and like rolling your silicone tool outward to open up the petal. And you just keep going back and forth with those motions until the petals open. If you feel like you need to push the petal inward or pull it down more, then absolutely go ahead and do that. But it's definitely a back and forth motion, and you'll realize that, oh, this petal looks a little bit longer than the other one, so I'm gonna pull this other petal down to match. So you just gotta go back and forth and play with it until you like it. Once I decided that I like how the flower looks, I went ahead and cured that in my lamp for a full 60 seconds. And then I come back and take that same shade of maroon and start outlining the petals. Now, the cool thing about getting clear, like Macart solid nail glue is clear. So the cool thing about using a clear 3D sculpting gel or like a white 3D sculpting gel is that you can paint over them whatever color you need. And there are so many cool designs that I've seen people do when it comes to flowers. So you can get really creative at this part. Next, it was time to work on the chrome. So anytime I'm doing literally anything with chrome, I always go to Beetle's black gel polish. Now, I've tried this with a bunch of different black gel polishes, and I just find that Beetle's is thin enough, or maybe it's just the way I'm applying it, but other black gel polishes just don't cure the same, and I could never find the right curing time in order for my chrome to stick or not come out like ripply and pasty. So with Beetle's black gel polish, what I like to do is apply a thin layer, and I have found that the perfect time to cure the polish in the light is 15 seconds. So I apply the polish, cure it in the light for 15 seconds only, and then I take a little makeup sponge and I dip that in my chrome powder, and I go ahead and start rubbing the chrome powder all over the black gel polish. After I apply the chrome powder, you want to take like a makeup applicator sponge. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second, but you want to take that. Okay, so here's the sponge that I use to apply the acrylic. Later on, after it's already applied, I take a big white makeup sponge and I clean up all of the excess powder that's left over on the nail that I don't want in that area. And the reason that I do that is because after I clean up all of that excess powder, I'm going to take top coat. It could be matte top coat or shiny top coat, and you're going to apply that over the chrome area that you want to stick. So if you don't do this part right here and you just go straight in with your top coat, most likely if you mess up and accidentally get top coat on an area that you don't want it to stick, the chrome powder is just gonna stay. It's not coming off. So it's very important to clean up all of the excess powder before you go in with the top coat. And I actually forgot to do this on my index finger, so you'll see the mistake with your own eyes on how it looks if you don't do that. Another thing that I want to mention with top coat, if you're struggling, is that chrome powder will stick to anything that is sticky. So if you notice, I always and only apply chrome powder to a matte base underneath. So if I were to just do like a black gel polish or whatever, and I put it in the light to cure, and then I don't matte top coat it before I put the black gel polish, then that chrome powder will stick to whatever I have underneath the black gel polish. So in this case, it would have just stuck to the little alligator white prints that I did in the background, and I totally would have ruined the design and had to start over. So make sure that whatever you are putting the black gel polish on, where you want the chrome to be, is going to be done over a matte base. That way you don't mess up the design. Now, once you've top coated the chrome design, you're gonna take some Young Nail Swipe or acetone on a lint-free wipe, and then you're gonna go ahead and wipe the entire nail to remove whatever powder might have accidentally been left over that wasn't picked up by the sponge, just to completely clean up the entire nail so everything looks clean. Now for my pinky, this is how I do 3D chrome designs. I take Macart's sculpted gel paint and I mix that with black gel polish. The reason I mix that with black gel polish and I don't just put my chrome over the clear sculpted gel paint is because the chrome will just be a shade lighter, and I want the chrome to be the exact same shade. So I always mix whatever I'm doing when it comes to chrome. If I'm going to do a 3D design, I always mix it with black gel polish first, and then I go ahead and scoop that up on a liner brush and start doing my design. Now I always do 2 coats of the 3D sculpted gel paint. So I already did that first layer of the design, fully cured it in the light for 60 seconds, and then I went ahead and went over that same design again. Now to get the chrome to stick to this 3D design, for my second layer, I cured the second layer for 30 seconds. Not 15, not a full cure. I cured it for 30 seconds. That way it still keeps its tackiness so that the chrome powder can stick to it. And then after I apply the chrome powder, I go in with that big makeup sponge again, clean up whatever powder is left over, top coat the design for a full 60 seconds. Once the design has been top coated, I can wipe it away with Young Nail Swipe and it looks super crisp and super clean. Now, earlier I mentioned that when I'm doing a 3D chrome design, I cure that second layer for 30 seconds and not 15. So if you're wondering why I cure it for 30 and not 15, that's because when I'm just doing normal gel polish, it's so thin already that 15 seconds is enough to harden the gel polish to the point where when I rub it with that little tiny makeup sponge, it's not gonna mess up or crinkle the polish, but it's still tacky enough that I can go ahead and put a chrome powder over it and the chrome powder will stick. Now, that's not the case when it comes to a 3D design. I need the sculpted gel paint to harden enough so that way when I rub it with the sponge, it doesn't squish. If I cure it for 15 seconds, I accidentally one time just rubbed the whole 3D sculpted gel paint off and it looked horrible and mushy and gooey because I didn't allow it to harden enough in the nail lamp. So that's why I cure it for 30 seconds when I'm doing a 3D chrome design instead of 15. The very last thing that I did to finish off this nail design was add some of these really cute, I don't know what they're called, beads, gems. To me, they're beads. They're gold. You can get them off of Amazon. They're very affordable. They come in different sizes to this big pack that comes in the background. And I feel like unless you're using these on the daily, they're gonna last you forever. There's so many in the pack. But I use my Macart UV handheld LED light to flash cure them. I talked about this a couple of times in my other videos, but it's just this beautiful, sleek rose gold handheld flash curing light. I've had a lot of old ones and tried a bunch of different ones on Amazon, and they're just not that powerful. But this one is like the full power of a full-blown nail lamp in a tiny little handheld light. It cures in 20 seconds or 30 seconds, and the 30-second one is a low heat. So it's really cool. But after I finished adding all the beads, this was the final look. Now, I was skeptical about the thumb at first, but I think it's my favorite nail. I absolutely love how these turned out in the end. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this design, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.